We're going live. We're running just a little bit behind schedule, but we're here. So you guys give me a minute and let me get you all clicked in. Okay, so Eddie, you need to turn your mic off and talk. Thank you. Get everybody added to the stage. And Catherine. Okay, welcome to the stream tonight, guys. We're running just a little bit late. I didn't know Justin. I sent him the link, so I didn't know if he's going to make it here or not. He was having trouble with it on his phone or something, and he called me like 20 minutes before it was time. Before it was time to go on, and so I didn't really have time to help him a whole lot. So, and so in the future, if you have any the time or want to look at anything about what we're doing, you can go to the product page on our website at winningcourtnow.com or click on the link in any of the short videos that we send out. So I'm gonna start out and let you guys watch the short video that I made about the Rooker-Feldman doctrine before we get started, and that'll cut us down some time that we can save at the end to answer questions if we have questions that we have to ask. So if anybody has anything that they want to add right now, you can always just unlock your this. So once I started presenting information, it works out great for me. If for everybody actually, if you make notes about the questions that you want to ask, because we may cover them before we're done. But the thing is that when I get on a roll with my stuff, if I have to like keep stopping, then I get so if you have questions about something that we talk about, make a note about it. And then when we're all done, we'll all have opportunity to ask a couple of questions or whatever. And the first questions that we'll start out with, I think, to be fair to everybody for the value of why you're here, would be the people who have questions about their order, because the information that went through didn't crush it. I think those people probably should be first with the questions when we get to the end. So when we get to the end, if there are people with questions about their order because we didn't cover what we needed to, make sure you're looking at things from the non-conventional side. Then I think those would be the questions that we want to answer first, because those will be the ones. And someone else may have those questions in their head too, or in their situation, but they haven't just thought about them in head. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to ask you guys, and if you worked with me before, you know that you understand. I'm going to ask you to check your emotions at the curb during the thing, and afterwards when we're talking about the judge that's jamming you up, whatever. I need you to check your emotions at the curb. And the reason I say that is because, number one, nobody makes good decisions when they're like, you know what I'm saying, and so pretty much that's what the goal becomes in the ring, in the battle, to get people flustered and maxed out so they can't stay focused on why they're here, why they're doing this. They're only focused on the what. They focus on the what because our system has indoctrinated us to believe that we have rights. And if you went to the last, the only right you have is the right to shut the hell up. And they tell you that when they're arresting your ass. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Okay, so all that's right except the court of law part. It should be in the administrative court where we get to do whatever the hell we want to. Okay, but the other thing is too that people need to understand that your emotional stuff and all that energy is great if you're doing the same thing that you were doing before. Okay? If you're not doing the same thing that you was doing before, then you're not learning because your head is looking the other way. Okay, your head's looking the other way. That's real important. The other thing is, I don't really deal well with people and the fear. And I don't really plan on working on that. Now, I tried to be respectful and considerate or whatever. But at the end of the day, what is it you do? And I asked a lady this one day. I was talking to her on the phone, and my ex-wife was sitting there drinking coffee. And I said, so tell me, what are you more fearful of going to court and talking and facing the judge and talking to the judge? Or are you more fearful of them coming down the street in their caravan of sheriff deputies to throw your stuff out in the yard? And she thought for a second. And she said, Coach, it's 50-50. Now, she thought too long, and I was already, I'm in that coach. I got to stay up front, okay? When she said 50-50, click, I just hung up on her. And my ex-wife was like, what the hell? Then I called her back in a couple of minutes, and she's laughing because she understood. She understood. Okay, you got a better chance of getting up in the judge's face than you got at trying to convince these sheriff deputies and that came out to throw your stuff in the yard that they need to give you another chance. Okay, so I'm just, I told her, she don't look out the window, you see that line? No one can learn while they're in a state of fear. No one can learn while they're in a state of fear. As an athlete, you're taught to chunk that, see yourself at the beginning and see how the end is supposed to be, going to be. And then the champion, work out the middle. So the first thing we're going to talk about tonight after we watch the video is protection and control. And when I say protection, I'm talking protecting your property, protecting your freedom and not being locked up in jail, or protecting your family from the plea deal. Okay, that's protecting your family from being put in a position where you have to take the deal. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Right now, I'm going to share screen share and let you guys watch the video that I made, chopping up the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. And, write down, actually, after the video's done, then we'll talk about anything that anyone has to say about that before we start with the rest of the stuff. I think that would be a good idea. Ashley T, it says her device is not connected. Ashley, can you hear us? Now, I had a friend before that couldn't get on, but she could hear us, and she was able to message us her thoughts in the comment window there. Ashley, you can text me too. I'm not sure if you're even here. I can see your name on there, so I'm going to assume that you're here, but I can't add you to the list. But anyway, we're going to go ahead, and I see you, Coach Regina. Are you? No, let me add you to the stage. Okay, there you go. Go ahead and mute your mic unless you need to say something. Now, if you guys notice somebody else come in or whatever while I'm doing other things, let me know. Unmute your mic and tell me, because I can't. Sometimes I don't see that stuff, and like I didn't even see her here until I saw her smile. Who the hell is that smiling? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start the video, and I'll give anybody else a little bit. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We still got a couple of people that didn't make it in, and Henry was going to come. He called me at the last minute, but I wasn't able to get around to doing everything, and I didn't know what happened to Justin. Also, I want to say that if we're having a live stream, you guys, I'm going to set it up where I'm sending out the link, the night before. That way everybody can relax about it and figure out what's going on. If you get the link and it doesn't have the time, you can go to the website and take a look at the product page in the website to see all the time and all that stuff. And if you paid and you didn't get the link or you can't log in, obviously, it'd be nice to call me. It'd be nice to call me 4, 5, or 6 hours before it's time for me to do all this. If you call, 20 minutes before showtime, then I'm going to be a little bit short. And if that's the situation, because you're sick or you died or whatever, the best thing to do is say, okay, coach, you're right. Next time I'll text you, okay, before 20 minutes showtime. But, we're getting these things worked out so that, that's the value of the real-time feedback. We're getting these things worked out so that things can go smooth and whatever. So the next one, I'll make sure that the link that gets sent out with the thing from StreamYard has the time and everything in it, so there won't be any confusion. So we're learning on the run as we learn how to have some fun. Okay, so let me do a screen share. Welcome to Pro Se Lawsuit Center, where we provide affordable battle-tested legal products to help you take control of any court situation, to help ordinary people take control. Pro Se Lawsuit Center. Check us out on our website over at winningcourtnow.com. In today's video, we're going to chop up the Rooker-Feldman doctrine and a few other doctrine and like it. And we're going to show you why it's been misapplied. Here we go. The Rooker-Feldman doctrine. This is from Wikipedia. The Rooker-Feldman doctrine is a doctrine of civil procedures enunciated by the United States Supreme Court in 2 cases, Rooker versus Fidelity Trust and blah, 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 blah. And then the appeals case, the doctrine holds that a lower court, the United States federal courts or other lower courts, could not sit in direct review of a state court decision. Oh, wait. The homeowner is not the plaintiff in the state court. If you're going to hold the state court as an appeals court, you'd have to be the one that lost in the state court. And that wasn't a defendant. The plaintiff is the one in state court that can't appeal the state court decision. Defendant has a redemption right in just about every state, and you have a legal right and a statutory count of days or months or years to get your property back, to fight for your property after you've been wrong. The Rooken-Feldman. So the doctrine's been misapplied. And so here are some other jurens that are similar. I've heard of this one, the Younger Abstinent, and each one of these are twisted just a little bit different in the reason why they're not allowing the state court to use the plaintiff in state court to use the federal court for the appeals court. But that's not what's going on with homeowners. It's been misapplied, and homeowners don't understand that they're not talking about them down there. And to take it a step further, in this program, you're going into federal court and paying $400 and filing a new case in federal court against these people. So there's no way. Come on now. If you file a brand new case and you have a case number and you paid the $400, how can they say that's an appeal from the state court? No, it's not an appeal. It's a lawsuit against them. And if you use the complete certified copy of the state court docket, you can take that with you, the docket sheet with you, to prove that you were violated, your due process was violated just last week. Now, once the judge does this to you, then it's time to do a supplemental. I would do a supplemental pleading and add the judge to it and add the government, whatever, again, the layer, just add to supplemental pleading and just follow, outline why. Because the judge is clearly misapplying the statute in order to assist the fellow bar members. Okay. That's my opinion, that he's clearly misapplying it. Maybe he's not clearly misapplying it. Maybe he's intentionally misapplying it with the intent of helping. Oh, wait. And I say that because here's the thing. Why is the judge answering with that as a come back to throw your stuff out anyway? No, I don't think so. I think the other parties are supposed to be answering and trying to say that that's where they're going to go. But, in their administrative thing, they're in a hurry because they got so many people that they're lined up to get jacked up. So now, once they punch you in the face and violate your due process, it's time to sue them. If you don't do that, then you might as well go. Whoever violates you, add them to the list. It's pretty simple where I came from. Add them to the list. We're just going to let that sit right there. That's pretty much it. That didn't take long. Bam. But that's the way it rolls. So that's it on that. It's simple. It's always simple. If it ain't simple, somebody lying. I'm just going to throw it on the table. Their stuff starts out in crap, and they can't fix it. No matter what they do, it's still going to smell like what it is. I'm just saying. Thank you guys for the value of sharing your time. Okay. No matter what it is, they're ready to start out with. I've been trying to clean things out because, my 13-year-old granddaughter, we used to get our nails painted. She told me one day that she saw me using the finger. I'm like, sweetie, I think I was fanning myself, because it was getting really hot. Yeah. So, anybody have any questions about the Rooken-Feldman doctrine or any of the other doctrines that they offer that they mentioned? If you do, just unmute yourself and talk, because they're all the same. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine. Yes.
Yes. So the Rooker-Feldman, when I looked at it, it also had certain characteristics that had to be met within a case. Within the, I'm in Virginia, and it's a non-judicial state, so there was no, not even a pretend court to take away the property. They
So how does that connect to the Rooker-Feldman? What we said?
so
I'm just trying to feel so I can keep up, because otherwise it sounds like a question that we had to answer.
It's like it's really late for me. My brain is like slow. So with my situation,
no, we're talking about the Rooker-Feldman.
Okay, so
the Rooker-Feldman.
Right. So, but I have to give you a little context, otherwise.
No, sweetie. No. We're talking about the Rooker-Feldman right now. Now, if you want to talk about your case, we can talk about that when we get done, because we haven't even started what we're going to talk about.
Okay. So you said that if you have any other questions, in the federal court case that I am right now, they're saying Rooker-Feldman, or based on the Younger doctrine, the case should be dismissed. So
okay, so the Younger doctrine, the Rooker-Feldman doctrine, they're all the same.
Okay.
What they're saying is, and somebody can correct me because I haven't read every single one of them, because I don't think I need to. What they're saying is that people can't use people that won in state court, or people. Okay, let me put it this way. The plaintiff that filed the case and lost in state court can't use the federal court as an appeals court. That's what they're saying. The misapplication part is that the plaintiff in state court wasn't us or you. It was them.
Correct. And
we have a right to challenge anything. Most states, even though I don't go by state statutes, because statutes and codes are not valid laws, don't have enacting clauses, titles, or bodies. They fit into why they're doing this to you instead of the what. Okay, so we don't really go by the state statutes and codes or whatever, but we do the check down, and the state stuff is. So Rooker-Feldman is actually saying that the plaintiff in state court can't go to federal court and use the federal court for help. But we're not the plaintiff in federal court. And the redemption statutes in every state, I don't talk too much about the statutes, allow everyone to go so many days or whatever to get your property back. The wrongful foreclosure of federal statutes, especially when you come with fraudulent concealment, allow you to go after your property back anytime. End of story. The fraudulent concealment is so badass. It tolls the statute of limitations. And so we use it at the gate. And our attorney goes, oh, you can't do that. Dude, we're already doing it. That's why you're complaining right now. I'm just saying, we don't roll with limitations, and we don't mess around with anything on the state level. Our game plan is to crush the state court process by using statutes, by using federal case law in everything we file, and by adding the state and the judge, because the judge is getting paid by the state, to their own stuff in the counterclaim. So it doesn't matter what they say, Catherine. I've studied that for a while, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're making a reference to the plaintiff from state court, not the defendant. Okay, but they're twisting it up because people read it and they don't catch that.
So the plaintiff in the state court won, so to speak, right?
Correct. So they're misapplying it.
Okay.
It don't matter if the plaintiff won or not. What
Okay.
matters is the plaintiff is the one that can't do that in federal court, and they're screwing us. So we need to stay focused on that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Regina. You got a question?
No, because that's what's missed, is that we're defendants in the state court, not plaintiffs.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, let me pull up my notes here and we'll just get on rolling. Okay, so the protection that we're going to be talking about is protecting other property before you punch them in the face. And if you bought property or you own whatever, you know, and this is actually something that I added after the fact because it's what we need to be doing. If you're facing a criminal situation and you're about to jam up the prosecutor and shit, then you want to make sure that you use the fraudulent conveyance lawsuit package to make your own property toxic. Because in the conventional situation, in the criminal situation, what they do is they put a lien on your property to stop you from taking out any money to fight them with. Or they put a lien on your property to bust your spirits and you know, actually both. They do it both for both reasons. So if you're going to go after them and punch them in the face, you should go ahead and do the fraudulent conveyance. Now, you don't want to do these at the same day. I suggest you do the fraudulent conveyance and then the following day go back and do the other one, the lis pendens, because most of these people have no idea about the fraudulent conveyance. They know what the lis pendens is. Okay, so once you get the fraudulent conveyance posted in the public record or filed in your case as a judicial notice, okay, then it's a lot easier to come in and do the follow-up with the lis pendens lien, because then they have a little more respect for you. So he's gonna put it to you that way. That helps you protect your property. The fraudulent conveyance moves you up to the #1 lien holder spot. So I had got to tell him, so Coach, will it stop the property tax? Dude, we don't need to stop nothing. Okay, that's the way we don't need to stop nothing. We need to make them give up over here. But in this case, we don't need to stop it because they can't move up past you. When you go over a fraudulent conveyance, you're saying that your property is being stolen with a shuffle of paperwork. It's that simple. And then you follow it up with the lis pendens lien. So you make your own property toxic. And nobody then is interested in Ashley says she can hear us. So that's good. I just remembered I can click on this thing. We got 10 people here, so that's pretty good. I think it might be. We're missing a couple. Okay, the other way to protect yourself and your family is to get the affidavit of state citizenship. The PDF that I have is called Diplomatic Immunity, and that PDF was sent to us by Cowboy Ken from California, and it teaches you how to fill out the passport. And we learned the first part of this from Yusuf, how to fill out the passport in a way that you're not admitting that you're a U.S. citizen, that your parents aren't U.S. citizens, you don't work in the U.S., you don't get mail in the U.S., you don't pee in the U.S. I think you understand. Okay, if you get that part right, you don't need to look at the instructions. Okay, well, they ask you a bunch of creepy ass questions. Do your parents like, yeah? And you say yes to that shit, now you just admitted to being a U.S. citizen, strongman corporate for the federal government. If you get that filled out right, then you'll get your passport. I have a little passport card. It'll come back. It'll have 5 stars on it, and you have. They can't find you in the system. Now, the reason this is so valuable is because, like, in back in the South, in Georgia, in North Carolina, people tell me the cops followed them when they left the police station or left the courthouse after they got done pissing off the judge. Okay, so when you have this filled out right and you get that card, I don't even use a driver's license. You don't need a driver's license unless you're working in commerce. I whip out that, and I got traffic stop videos of them stopping me. Shit, I was 2 blocks from my house one day, and new dude, they came back. I think they actually Googled me in their computer, on their computer, because so he came back and asked me, Mr. Neighbors, do you have a driver's license or something? Because no, dude, that's all that I'm giving you to identify me with. And then my ex-wife was like, you're being kind of rude. Well, he's being rude, coming back up here asking me for some more shit. And because he already knows what I gave him was fire and he need to go sit his ass down. Well, in the end, babysitter came, and I knew the babysitter, and he knew me. They knew what was going on in Lawrence, which is 9 miles away. And I told him, I said, dude, is he new? And the cops, oh, well, it don't matter. And if he writes me a ticket, your boss is going to be pissed. I can see it inside here. So we back and talk to him anyway, they came back and they decided to let me go. And the babysitter dude was like on the review, on the side mirror right there talking to me. And the other officer was standing over here. And I could see him. He was shifting his weight. Oh, he was not happy. I'd have to get out of my face. And in the end, I gave him a hard time because he said, oh, we found your address. No, dude, I haven't lived at that address for many years. Oh, so you went above and beyond what I gave you to identify me. That's how I knew he Googled me. Because the other dude probably told him to Google me and see before he act all stupid. And then they're like, well, man, we're not giving you a ticket. We're not giving you a ticket today, whatever. I'm like, well, if you guys don't give me a ticket, I'm just going home. And then the officer standing over here to Mr. Neighbors, there's a warrant out for your arrest. And I said, yeah, officer, I do know that. I said, I also know that y'all asses don't get to see on the computer what you should be looking at. Okay, because I already sued them for that. And I filed 14 documents in the case. And, Officer Garcia was sitting over there in the municipal court every time. And, hello, Mr. Neighbors. Hello, Officer Garcia. And not one time did he try to arrest me. Anyway, so that protection thing is pretty valuable. That's valuable for your teenage kids that are driving. That's valuable because when they get pulled over, you don't have to worry. They don't have to. They just need to keep their mouth shut. Hand them that. And tell them that my dad said the legal team told me to. So we learn how to control the process and when we do that, it forces the players to visualize the shared liability. That's kind of how we do that. So we accomplish this best by adding them to their own legal action as plaintiffs using a counterclaim process. You add the state or the federal government, whoever it is, add them to your counterclaim. You add the judge to the counterclaim and the attorney and prosecutor or the victim people. The less people, the better. But you can always do a supplemental pleading and change it and adjust anything that you need to adjust. Ashley said she can't hear. Can you hear us now, Ashley? And, my thing is, why don't people sue the judge at the gate? Right? At the gate. Oh, that's what we do. Sue the judge at the gate. And we already talked about the fear a little bit. So we have a couple other things that are connected to the fear that I need to go over, I think. And one of them is the lies about immunity. The judge has immunity to violate people's civil rights. Okay, that just sounds stupid as hell. Okay, so it actually says that a judicial judge has qualified immunity for judicial functions. So qualified immunity, judicial function, bam, bam, both those are out because they're not in judicial function. They're administrative function. And qualified immunity means you qualify for that immunity by following the Constitution and the law, federal law. It sounds really stupid to me for them to be saying, oh, well, the judge can do that. The judge has immunity. The judge can steal your house, throw your family out on the street, lock your ass up for a whole bunch of years. And they don't have to be right. The judge, no. Yeah, a lot of people don't believe that crap no more. And it just sounds stupid when you say it outright. The other fear a lot of people have is fear of retaliation. Yeah, that's a very real fear. Not as big as the fear of not having any constitutional rights or any administrative rights, because you ain't got none of them kind of rights either. Fear of retaliation. Well, I think I'd rather be retaliated on than, well, the other thing. At least you're getting some licks in. Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, these people doing this stuff, I mean, they got a whole bunch of people lined up. They don't have time for somebody screaming and kicking and punching their ass back in the face. Their concern is not about you or what they're trying to take from you or you kicking their ass. Well, maybe that might be a little bit of it. Okay, but the bigger concern is other people finding out. Other people finding out. Judges are not in any judicial function. They're not. They have no immunity. They do whatever the hell they want to. And the most important thing to remember is that crushing the judge's order is the fact that the judge is not going to provide you a finding of facts and a conclusions of law. That's the most important thing that you need to crush any judge's order. And in my head, without those two things, you have zero chance at an appeal. It's funny how it goes. When they get done throwing you on the bus, oh, I'm going to sue you guys. Oh, yeah. You need to go out in the street, get an attorney, and let them know who you pick. You tell them, I'm going to file an appeal. Oh, well, sit down right here. We'll get the paperwork out for you and help you with that. Why is that? Because they already know the judge didn't provide what you need to do in the appeal. And that when you do an appeal, all they're going to do is just run your ass out of time. They're going to leave you over there until they get the slate cleaned enough to move your ass on the schedule. No chance of an appeal because there's no finding of facts and conclusions of law. There's no chances of an appeal because you're an administrative court and the whole stuff they're doing is all BS and BS. So there ain't no chance of appeal. And without chance of our appeal, that means you've just been administered. That you just got administered straighted. I'm working on that new word. I'm still working on that new word. Now I could call it something else, but then grandkids be giving me a hard time. So we're just gonna go with that administrative, and I'm gonna fan myself. Okay, sorry. So the court process is trash at the gate, and it can never be legal. Remember, always to object to the judge's order before you trump them with stuff. Always object. I'm objecting to this judge's order. Why? Come on now. Stay with me, coach. Because the judge failed to provide a finding of facts and a conclusions of law. Bam, number one. And number two, the statutes and codes are not valid laws. The judge is operating off of the local rules. The local rules, each location pulls out of their finger. Oh, okay, yeah, I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Remember, your goal will change depending on what the fraudulent obstacles are presented. Whatever they want to do, and a lot of people have a hard time. Oh, well, you said this, well, you know what? That was before they did that. Okay, it's a real-time feedback from the people that have helped us build this program that we have and dictated what we need to do. It's clear to me. And those people that do that are still reaching their goal. The people that don't do that are struggling to reach their goal. We have learned how to address the why they're able to violate you so easy, why they're able to violate you, not so much what they did, the why they're able to violate you. That's what we address. Why they're able to. When you address the what, you're following yourself into their conventional bullshit. Okay, because when you address the what they did, that's because you think you have rights. Oh, they did that violate. You ain't got you got the right to shut the hell up and remain silent. That's the only right that you have. Oh, wait. Everything that's going to be, you say is going to be used against you in a court of law. And it's funny how it goes. Because when you get to that point, that's exactly what they do. But that's not all. They also use a bunch of words that they pay other people. They call snitches to, I know what I'm talking about. So Ashley wanted me to repeat, and I know you guys, I can't put her comments across the thing in a live stream. So I'm assuming you guys can see them, right? So she wanted me to repeat that the judge didn't provide a finding of facts and a conclusions of law. I'm going with and, because my study said they need both the finding of facts and the conclusions of law, or there's no appeal. There's no appeal anyway, because you have to go to the only court that has any judicial authority, and that would be the International Court of Trade in New York or wherever they're hiding it at. It used to be called the Botanical something. Yeah, that's the only one. No finding of facts and conclusions of law. You need both of those, or the judge is helping them. Okay, so how do you handle that? Let's just stick right here from where we're at, because I'm sure this is okay. So when the judge helps them, then I like to file supplemental pleading. You can go to the Federal Rules of Procedure and look up filing an amendment, and scroll down to the bottom of that, all the way down to the bottom by that little tiny number, and you'll see supplemental pleading. You can file a supplemental, but it doesn't say you only get 1, 2, or 9 when you go on with the Fraudulent Concealment Act. It doesn't really matter, but I like to beat them in the face with their own stuff. So the supplemental pleading, you can file as long as you add a party or account or both, and have to be connected to the original reason why you were there. And I found this supplemental pleading thing out a while back when I was helping my sister with the foreclosure situation. And we had jammed out their attorneys in state court the state court judge, he didn't dismiss the case, but he used another word to stop it. And then they kept on trying to just do everything anyway. So I moved it over to federal court because I wasn't paying another $400. I mean, I already paid $195 over here, and they're screwing us over. So we forced them to let us move it over there. And then they tried to do this Rooker-Feldman shit or whatever. Okay, so I'm like, all right, you know what? We're done playing. So we just filed. Well, we filed a counterclaim first, and then we filed that over there in the federal court. But before we did that, we added the attorney's property to it as damages. And we done our homework. I did homework and looked it up. And so his wife was a signer on the property. So we had to add her to the counterclaim. And then we served her a copy of the counterclaim. I don't think they ever had that shit happen before. Oh, they were pissed. They had the police call my sister and was talking some crap about, the emails that she sent over to them that I could have or may not have sent her to send over to them. Mentioned boxing or something, but it was very vague. And when he got done with all this, he asked my sister, he told my sister that they wanted him to ask her if she could just mail her stuff in to the court or mail it to the attorney's office and not send it to the bitch ass attorney's house. His wife was, and the legal team may have mentioned to her the fact that we added the Bar Association to that federal claim as well. So she's not going to be able to have her husband help her. Well, he couldn't help her anyway because his ass is being sued. Okay, and she can't have any other bar attorneys help her because we added the bar to the lawsuit. So, and we also demanded that his wife lose her car. She had a really fancy SUV. So we put that in the we want to take his wife's SUV and make her drive his car. I'm not. And then they kept acting stupid. So we took the attorney off. We filed a whole new case in federal court, and we took the attorney off, and we left his wife on there. And my sister, she's like, I'm just trying to figure out why, I said, well, I guess I'm getting a little soft-hearted because I know the attorney is getting his butt kicked every day when he gets home. Okay, so it's a psychological thing. Okay, now the attorney ain't even getting sued. I mean, technically, theoretically, okay. To the person who's sitting over there worried about where they're gonna find the attorney because they can't hide none of his friends, that person ain't happy to see this person over here not sitting over her. Okay, anyway, I think y'all understand how the reasoning behind. The goal is to force them to visualize their shared liability and make them go sit the hell down. So when you punch a judge and then you block them, then they're going to set another hearing for you to return. And that's what they do. If you punch them, but you don't punch them enough, or you let yourself get wrapped up in the bullshit in the court, because you think you have rights, so you got something else to say, and you're gonna think, so then the judges are gonna keep on aggravating you, because the judge knows he or she can't kick your ass with the fire that you're bringing. So they're just going to keep screwing with you, pissing you off, so you kick your own ass at some point in time. Okay, because the goal here is to get the state court process stopped, bam, and hop our ass over to federal court. Why is state court judge still? Okay, because the state court judge on the phone called over there and told them, I still got jurisdiction because he didn't add or she didn't add my ass to, like the legal team told her to do. Because when you go on with this shit the way we got it, they already know you know what you should be doing. Okay, but you're not going to add the judge because the judge pissed you off and you got some rights. So you can, okay, so you're just going to kick all these other people's ass and then bam, leave this one. Okay, so here's the thing. It's like in the hood. You want to take out the money. That'd be the government. You want to take out the hired assassin, the one hired to kick your ass. Y'all know who that is. I ain't got to put a name on that. And you want to get the snitch. If you don't get those three, you don't get the money, bam, it's going to keep on going. If you don't take out the judge and you get the money, the judge is going to keep on going. The judge is going to keep on going because they go for broke. They'll keep talking shit until the last. The only way that you're going to know that you're kicking their ass with my stuff is if you already been in there, okay, and the court or whatever. Because if you already been in there several times and then you jump in the face of, then you have a situation. You have a situation where the judge and the attorney ain't neither one of them want to take the hit. Oh, so now you separated. Oh, and then they're gonna start bitching at each other. But it's ridiculous in my head because they both about to get the beat down. They can point the finger all they want to. It ain't gonna do no good. Arguing with the judge is a complete waste of time. A total complete waste of time. And the only reason that they do that is because you kicked their ass already, but you didn't finish them off. You took your foot off their neck, or you didn't get your foot on their neck when they were down. And they piss you off by treating you like you're a moron. And now you got rights and you're gonna act like a moron. Okay. I'm not talking shit on nobody particular, okay? Because everything that I'm telling you, I went through it. I had a lady one day, I told this lady on the phone one day, I said, ma'am, you need to, if you can't do it, if you can't control the fear, you just have to do it scared. You just have to do it scared. I said, it's really bad if they can hear your knees knocking under the table. And she, what, I'm like, okay, dude, just take it easy. I was talking about my own self, okay? I'm 6'7". My knees are already this far below the table, okay? Yeah. So if I throw something on the table, it's because I seen it, done it, did it, heard about it, someone told me they did it or whatever. And this is how we learn how to do what we're doing right now. Arguing with the judge is a waste of time. You have the right to remain silent. Use it. The judge is going to badger you, stomp on your rights, act arrogant to gain control of your head. And then once that happens, it's going to keep jacking with you and jacking with you and jacking with you until you get an opportunity, bam, and slip one in on you without you knowing it. Or your attorney that This is why we just stopped the court process. They already said you got the right to shut the hell up. And whatever you say, we're going to use to stick up in your face. Why should we want to? People tell me, oh, but my state. No, your state is screwing you over big time. The state is screwing you over. The state property transfer statutes mandate that your property is that your deed is supposed to be delivered to the property after the deal. No, but that's not what you did. They mailed you a copy. They copied the security, which is counterfeiting and totally against the law. If I did that, they'd be knocking on the door in the morning. Maybe they wouldn't even knock. Well, if I did, they wouldn't knock because they're pretty mad. But I don't care. I don't care. I don't roll with limitations. I ain't planning on working at Walmart when, my birthday's tomorrow. I ain't planning on working at Walmart. And no, I ain't going back for no forced medication order. And not without, I think everywhere they send me, I'm gonna help people go home. Y'all can come get me if you want to. I'm gonna help people go home everywhere they send me. I'm gonna have free commissary. Yeah, I figured that out in the end. But now, way more firepower up here. By adding a state judge to their own action using a counterclaim, you add all the players as plaintiffs using a counterclaim. It's revolutionary. Totally badass. Dude, we got dude, he's a coach. He calls himself Little Ice. His dad was Big Ice. Okay, I just call him Ice Jr. because when you black him, you talk about little stuff, He's suing 88 people. This dude got 88 people on. I'm like, damn. So I had to step up. I stepped up and I came up with my ineffective assistance of counsel lawsuit that I put together yesterday. 88 people. Yeah, I take my hat off to him. I got no problem with that shit because 88 people. And I think he's at least 2 different states. I don't know. I see what his office look like. We attacked the Y. He attacked the Y. And he told me that he did the counterclaim. The IRS was jacking with him. And he did the counterclaim on their ass. And they told him there was no case. I don't know they didn't know what he was talking about. Bam. Yeah. And then we had someone else contact me earlier this week who used the property tax package and got the property tax foreclosure dismissed. We attacked the Y. That shit got dismissed because when you attack the Y, they don't want everybody to know why. Could you imagine if everybody went up in there? That's my dream. Okay, so Coach Ice Jr., you let me know when your motorcade gets longer than the one they got following follow me around. Maybe I'll head up north and we'll just hook up and let the motorcade follow us both. We attacked the Y, a new mindset. A new mindset. Well, so as it is, she did these guys as a plaintiff with me, so we do them as a plaintiff in their case. We file a counterclaim in their case. We add them as plaintiffs to the counterclaim and file in their case. So now we just jack them up because they can't represent themselves. They can't litigate a case they're a party to. They can't represent each other. They can't represent other members from the same corporation. The judge can't rule in a case that the judge has been a party to. So, okay, so see, the criminals make the rules and the laws. We ain't following none of them. We ain't following none of them. We're not following what the criminals do and make. We already know that. So, okay, so here's the thing. Just keep it simple. Statutes and codes on the state level are not valid laws. Don't have enacting clauses, don't have titles, don't have bodies. Okay, now slow down. Y'all sitting down. Federal statutes and codes, federal statutes do not have, they're not valid laws. Don't have enacting clauses, titles, or bodies. And Title 18 was never ratified. Title 18 was never ratified. And I brought that up one time. Someone got all huffy. You want me to prove it? I don't have to prove it. Hop your ass on the internet and look it up and see if it has a title, a body, and a freak and an enacting clause. It don't have none of those because it was never enacted. That means all those drug charges, all those people that locked up in jail that didn't hurt anybody, damage anybody's property, are getting jacked. So since you don't understand how we would sue and add the judge and attorney to the case, okay, so it's easy. You make a counterclaim, and in the counterclaim, you're adding the judge, the state, and to the counterclaim as plaintiffs, and then you file in their case without having to pay filing fees, without having to pay, No, it's nothing to understand. I'm telling you how to do it. To understand why we're doing it, I don't know how long that would take you, but it didn't take us very long. Well, actually, we've been doing this for a minute, but it didn't take us long to figure out that they can't litigate, they can't continue the case if you add them to it. I'm not that smart. They can't continue the case if they're a party in it. What do they got to do? They got to get an attorney. Tab, you just gotta wrap your head around that. And when you do it, like I said, we're changing the mindset. Changing the mindset. So you're a defendant in a case that you didn't pay to file. Why don't we clear this out right now? The plaintiff is the person that paid to file the case. So once you get done crushing the state court process, then you're going to file your case in federal court where you're the plaintiff, and you're going to get a certified copy of the entire state court docket sheet to take with you over to federal court to prove the why they're able to violate you, because they drag you into their administrative court and they answer nothing that you filed. They can't answer nothing that you filed because they can't respond to federal case law with statutes and code. Bullshit. They can't answer to nothing you filed because you added them as parties to their own case. Bam! Who does that? Mr. ADD man. Well, we don't use counterclaimant. If you use counterclaimant, then you're doing it, it doesn't matter what words you use. You understand what we're talking about. So we're going to move forward. We can hash all day on words or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You use the counterclaim to jam their ass up, add them. We change the mindset. Stopping the court process, sue the players in federal court or a different court if you're in federal court. Our goal is to make them tap out, not go before the judge and have the judge rule and all of that stuff. Our goal is to make them tap out and go sit the hell down. A new mindset, we keep punching them until they visualize their shared liability. I researched the judge's facts on People Looker, and I use them in my campaign. I use them. We use judge LLCs to file claims to add their LLCs and their property as damages to your lawsuit. And then, like we talked earlier, we had the judge's spouse in the situation. If we add their property to the counterclaim, you can sue the law firm for their corporate charter. Yeah, you can sue them for the corporate charter or the bar card. And we email YouTube videos that we make about the judge and the court clerks and all of the stuff. We email those out to all of the people, all of the clerks of the court, all of the federal judges, all of the city council, like 20 or 30 people. They get the email of what the judges are doing over there and how they're violating these people's rights. When you bring the RICO and connect everyone in email, it makes them co-conspirators. And they don't even have to understand exactly what the hell's going on. They get jammed up because do acquiescence because they don't object, which is kind of the same thing they try to do to us. So the final reason they escape jurisdiction, we got the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. We got and I showed a list of those. The other reasons they escape is because they just lie to you outright and tell you that the court still has, jurisdiction. There's whatever. They have all lies. And the magistrate judge doesn't have judicial authority to be involved in anybody's case without the signed consent from all parties. Okay, so what do you do when they screw you over? Well, for me, I'm going to file something in a pleading, or if I pleaded money, I want it to really be a pain, I would just file a whole new case against the judge for helping them, for trying to help them. Well, you can't just go back and reset everything back to zero and start over again. Yeah, we got a new lawsuit that I put together for ineffective assistance of counsel for civil, for the attorney that you hired. The attorney that you hired threw you under the bus, and the attorney didn't tell you that attorney is doing the same thing these people are doing down the street for them, for other people, the same position as you're in. No, they don't tell you that. Okay. Who got questions? Nobody? Okay. Good night, everybody. Okay, now. Does anybody have questions pertaining to like what we said at the top, to their order? And then if not, then we'll just talk about stuff because I ain't in a hurry to run. So I don't see nobody unmuting, so I'm going to assume that our...
Hi.
Hey, Catherine, that's you?
That's me.
Okay.
I'm still awake.
Sweetie, go ahead.
Okay. So you said I may speak about a little bit about my case. Is that okay now? Or question, judgment rather, that I have.
So the first thing I'll ask is, did we offer what you need to crush your case? And then if that's yes, then you can speak, and we'll just let everybody, we'll just limit it to a few minutes, as long as it's not emotional.
Yes, no, I think I've mastered that part.
Okay.
Yes, you have. However, I have to obviously, review my notes and figure out how to apply what you're teaching today to my case, because I'm already in court.
Okay, so What I tell people, Catherine, is that you can't connect what you were doing already to what you're doing over here.
Okay.
Okay. So with that being said, the goal is stopping the court process. Okay. So you file a counterclaim in the state court process, but you add those people to it, like we said, file a counterclaim in there, and that's a wrap.
What if
There's no more.
what if I'm beyond the point of filing a counterclaim because I removed
No,
the
no, Catherine. You're not. So I'm the coach, and I'm drawing this play on the chalkboard. So we're going to run this play like I'm drawing it. Now, remember, fraudulent concealment, we don't roll with limitations. We have none. No limitations. Not one. I don't. So none of that doesn't matter. What matters is that you go in there, you get that counterclaim, and you fill it out, and you go and you file it in your case. That's it. That's all you got to do. And then once you get done stopping that and blowing that up in their face, then you need to get the lawsuit filed in federal court against those people. You need to make sure you get a certified copy of the complete docket sheet, because they're not going to be able to answer nothing that you file, that you get from us. So stick that counterclaim in their face. They can't answer to it. I would already get a certified copy of it right after you file it, because they ain't going to be able to answer to it. You know, if they stick something in there, you can always go back and get another one. Okay, and then you go to the federal court, you file your lawsuit in federal court against these fools. You got your evidence right here. And now, so I worked this out, and now you order the federal court judge to make them come to the settlement table, because they couldn't respond to nothing that you filed in state court. And they still can't respond to nothing that you filed in federal court either. Bam! That's like paralyzing them through one of the pressure points, so they can't move while you keep punching them in the face. So now you see, it doesn't have anything to do with what you were doing. If you do anything that you were doing, and no offense, but I like to use the word deficient. It was deficient. What do you think they're going to want to talk about? The deficient. If they're connected together, they're not going to talk about this stuff over here that's kicking their butt that they can answer to. And if you do this right, you add the judge, you add the state, okay, so the state committed real estate deed fraud when they failed to deliver your title to your property, like the property transfer statutes mandate they're supposed to do. Your deed's supposed to be delivered, and it's not conveyed, yada yada yada, until it's delivered. But that's not what they did. What they did was, after you left the table, they stamped paid to the order of on that puppy dog, and then a bank vice president, or Linda Green, or there's one other famous robo-signer, signed that, turned it into a security, signed it, and processed it through the Federal Reserve for electronic credits. Those electronic credits is what they're trying to say was a mortgage loan that they lent you. There's no lender. The bank's not involved. There's no lender, there's no servicer, there's just a bunch of crooks that are stealing your property. Now, the property transfer statutes mandate that your deed is supposed to be delivered. But they did what they call a constructive delivery, and they registered that shit in their office. And then, after it was registered, your property was reclassified for the sole purpose of taxation. It was private property, and it says in the Constitution, not once, but in two different places, that your private property is not to be taxed. And then it says if there is tax, it has to be apportioned and all this other stuff. But that's not what they do. They reclassify your property to one of their commercial designations, which originally there were 3: agricultural, residential, or commercial. Now, the city of Lawrence sent me an email when I was busting their chops for giving my ex-wife a hard time, and they said they have 13 classifications. I'm like, oh, hell, Lord, have mercy. I can't even imagine 13. I ain't even on. That's why I didn't even go look them up. I'm gonna stick with the 3 that I don't like right now. Okay, I ain't add no more to it because now it's starting to smell. Okay, so they reclassify your property for the sole purpose of taxation. That's not the only reason why they register illegally. Most people don't realize that illegal registration allowed the first illegal lien to be put on your property. The first illegal lien. Oh, attorneys don't want to hear this. Need to the judge. The first illegal lien was the mortgage lien. In my opinion, I know, Coach, you're talking crazy. They said I'm crazy. They couldn't prove it. Okay, look at it this way. If there were several people who own property, all those owners have to be present to sign the lien, right? I had this conversation with the people on my shoulder sometimes. And so the fact that the alleged lender accepted your signature on the stinking lien proves that you own that shit already, and I smell stink. When you go check, it's still probably stamp paid to the order of on it and signed on it. Okay, so there's more stink. There's supposed to be a contract with the bank or whatever. Why the bank didn't sign it while you were sitting there? Okay, they signed that shit later after you left, and they wouldn't let you take it. Okay, so modern money mechanics, I can't believe I remember all shit off the top of my head. Okay, I'm a freak. Modern money mechanics said that those fools are granted 9 times the amount that went into a demand deposit account when they process that shit through the, 9 times the amount. And then they wrote a check to pay these people for stealing your property from the first, okay, so 9, 10, and then they claimed it on the taxes and wrote it off the insurance, 11 and 12. Then they kept your money. They tried to keep your money. I don't know. I'm going to need Jeffro Bodine to count how many times they asked got paid. Now, I have a private investor told me that, oh, I'm getting worked out. Ouch. Told me they got paid 22 times. He said 22 times. And I believe it because this dude buys that shit from the bank way before all this stuff and works out these deals with people. Yeah, he's trying to teach me. I said, I ain't trying to learn how to do that shit. It's taking me like half my life to learn this part that we're doing right now. So, and we got a nice little niche right here in between kicking the attorney's asses and the money. The big thing is that people need to understand was that money, the alleged mortgage loan was generated with Joe's signature. And the premium foreclosure package is designed to address that. We said in that lawsuit in the premium package, we're saying there are 6 things missing. 6 things missing from the contract that these attorneys filed in court. These 6 things you and the lender agreed to, and the attorneys took them off. One of the 6 things is, now this is only in the premium package, so don't get it twisted. The other packages are badass, but the premium package. One of the 6 things is you're saying that you and the lender in your lawsuit against those fools, you're saying you and the lender agreed that the borrower would be repaid. Bam! Y'all asked all the borrower. You signed the only place to sign on the unilateral contract. Okay, that ain't all. Okay, also missing. I can remember these two real easy. Also missing. You and the lender agreed. This is hot here. We're gonna take a station break. Okay, we're back. You and the lender agreed that the mortgage deal was going to be done according to the GAAP accounting principles. Bam! Oh, that's hot right there. And that's real hot right there, because they can't say that they did the deal according to the GAAP accounting principles, because they didn't. They can't say they didn't do the deal according to GAAP, because then they'd be admitting that they violated the GAAP accounting principle on federal banking laws that they're supposed to be following. Yeah, so that lawsuit package is undefeated, needless to say. Oh, nobody wants to discuss any of the first two, let alone the other 4, 6. 2, 4, 6. Yeah. So you guys see the way this is set up. The goal is to get your deed out of the office. That's number one goal. I asked the attorney one day, it was on Facebook talking trash. I said, I'm not smart as you, but let me ask you this question. If the deed was not in their office, would they be able to verify there was a mortgage against your property? That's my hoster. Would they be able to verify there was a lien, there was a mortgage lien against your property if your deed was not in their office? I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart. People don't realize that when they get your deed, they register in the Register of Deeds Association. There's one in every state. In some states, the name is twisted up a little bit different. The Register of Deeds Association. That's where they register your shit at. And once it gets registered there, this is my opinion, once it gets registered there, then it's sent out all over the internet to the realtors, to the eviction people. It's sent out to the land bank. Write that shit down. Y'all ass got a land bank. Shelby County, Tennessee, Darren Woods, who was using their property tax package to save his grandma's house. And he did. And turns out, Channel 5 did investigation, and I put this shit on the YouTube channel. And I listened to their whole story because I was like, oh, I was right in there. Yep. And they talked about, how these things, and the city dudes like, oh no, we just take the properties so they don't be an eyesore and whatever. We just sell them to get out of whatever, whatever well, they took these people's property. These people owe $2,800. Okay, they're probably worth $14,000. They owe $2,800 on it. They sold their property for $500 in the land bank to somebody overseas somewhere. Oh, the city dude couldn't explain that. Well, the land bank, huh? So if I'm facing a foreclosure situation, I don't want to be doing some things that's going to make them not want to have my ass anywhere. Oh, If I add the land bank as a defendant, oh, and if it's RICO, then you can add the land bank, and then you can fall in behind it with your notice of preservation, which is the RICO document, letting them know that you need to preserve all the evidence. And then you can shut down the office, seize their computer equipment, anything connected to the fraud that you've been dealing with, You can see it's with the RICO stuff, and oh, it's getting a little hot. It's getting a little hot. And so these are the tips that we do to increase the value of them not wanting to have your ass in their court or their system in their face. Any more questions? That's good. That means that we covered some stuff. Now, anybody that want to go ahead and send me their review, it could be a little video review or audio review about our meeting today, about the value that you got here or something. Then I'll send you guys, I'll email you over. What I'm thinking about is sending you guys out the fraudulent conveyance package that you need to cloud your title, to cloud the title of the property. So I'm thinking most of you are in foreclosure situations or property or are coaches. Oh, and Cameron, there's no, where are you at, Cameron? Oh, I didn't see you there. Okay, there you go, buddy. I think you're added to the stage now. Can you hear me?
Okay, can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. You got the flow.
Okay, I got two questions. The first one is in eviction court, where I looked up and you can't add counter defendants or bring a counterclaim, but the clerk is refusing to take the counterclaim.
Now, slow down. So you can't add what?
The clerks are refusing to take the counterclaim. How do we work around that?
Well, number one, the clerk doesn't have judicial authority to make a determination on your legal document in the first place. I usually throw that on the table. What we've learned how to do now is just not take the stuff back. Once you hand it to them, they're going to go run around, whatever, you can let me know, right? They're going to run around back to whatever, and then they're going to come back. And you can see when they come back that, in their eye, whatever, and you don't have to take it back. Now, it doesn't really matter, theoretically speaking, because eviction court is a fake ass court, and they're not going to do anything with it anyway. The way we used to stop the eviction process is we used to have to we filed the lawsuit in state court after we add those players to it and just filed our own lawsuit in state court against them, and then filed another lawsuit in federal court and attached that to it as a judicial notice. And it's got, so we don't do all that anymore. Now we just stop the process by adding the players to it. You add the players to it, and then if you're non-judicial, then you just need to file your lawsuit in federal court. And then I would take and file a copy of that back down there as a judicial notice, stick in that. So we stopped, I stopped my foster kids divorce case. I screwed them people for 7 months or 8 months filing stuff. I had a big old stack, because I just want to keep on going until they start acting stupid. And then when I filed that shit in federal court, and I'm about ready to open it back up because I had to go to Arizona and help a kid who was in the military. So I didn't want to have all this stuff going on if I'm not here to take care of it.
Yeah, but don't we have to get it on the docket to show that?
No. What you have to do is get it in their face. Okay, so, and the reason I say that, Karen, because I just said municipal court is a fake ass court. The eviction court, they get their judicial authority from the city ordinance. I read that shit. I almost fell out the fucking, are you kidding me right now? What corporation can come in and give your own self legal authority? I do it all the time. You ever wonder why municipal court down the street get pulled over municipal court for some stupid shit, and then they'll send the shit over to the other court to give the prosecutor a shot at your ass if they want to take a shot at you, and then they'll do another charging document. Oh, it's ridiculous. Okay, so my point is, you're not going to litigate nothing in that court, are you?
Well, no, that's not the point. The point is to block it, like you said.
So you're going to nail their door shut.
That's the whole point of making defendants or counter claimants, right?
No. The point of the counterclaimant is to add their assholes to the shit in their stuff, and then use that when you go over here as your evidence that they violated your rights yesterday. Dude, you're not going to be able to file nothing and make them do anything until you use the federal court to do it. The point is to file that in their case and to stick it in their face. So when you get done beating their ass over here, you can connect that shit. They ain't going to do nothing.
I thought that once they're a party to their own case, then they would have to recuse.
Well, okay, so you're talking in a judicial court or a municipal court that gets its judicial authority from the city ordinance? Or are you talking about in an administrative court that they can do whatever the hell they want to? Anytime.
Well, and either way, there's
There's no well, man.
There are rules, right? But
No,
the appearance of
there's
impropriety.
rules for you to follow. Their ass ain't following them. Okay, so we don't roll with no rules around here, man. No limitations. I ain't running no rules. They ain't following no rules. What rules you talking about? Stop that shit. Sue the ass in federal court. Serve them. Once you serve them, it's a wrap.
Okay, and I did that. Now the issue is that in federal court,
Okay, wait.
You
did that, and it's a wrap. Why are we talking about it?
Well, no, because they're still moving.
Okay.
I absolutely did that, and they're still moving.
Did you add the lender?
No.
Who are your defendants in federal court?
The state, the judge for the UD court, and the law firm, and the lawyers.
And so they all been served,
Yes.
and they responded.
Well, they came in with 12 Bs.
So did they respond?
Well, their response was a 12B, to which I came in with a demand to strike their notice of appearance.
Okay, that's the problem. You didn't crush them. So when they come at 12B, you need to crush them. I'm objecting to 12B because everything I got in this document that I already stuck in y'all's face. Then you do the thing. Otherwise, they still have jurisdiction and control. That makes sense?
Yeah, but that doesn't go into the eviction case. That goes into the federal case.
Right. So how do you think you're going to stop the eviction case?
Good question, Coach. That's what I'm asking.
That's what I just told you. I just told you how to do that, but you're not listening to me.
Okay, one more time for the thick-headed people.
What's missing here with your stuff? You said you served them.
Yes.
And the state's still moving forward. The state's still moving forward because when you didn't object to the judge's order, you just went past the objection to file the counterclaim or whatever. You have to object and stop that. You're not going to stop it at filing a counterclaim, as you see, because it is going to ignore it. If you don't object to this, then you're agreeing to it through acquiescence because you didn't object. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the thing. You got to object to that shit because of all the fire that you got on the table. I'm objecting because it's copy and paste all the shit in the lawsuit you stuck in their face. Then you get to punch their ass. But if you punch them before you object, then you haven't objected and stopped them. So they're gonna go forward because they figure you left the table.
Hmm.
And could it be so simple? You go make those changes and see what happens.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. Next, you're the next contestant on their coach's corner because the price ain't never right.
Good evening, Coach.
Hey, that sounds like Eddie.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good, man.
Good. Just a question, on the federal level, if the judge ends up getting too squirrely, I know we have the notice of recusal, and then we can also add them to the as a defendant. Is there a particular order you would do that in? The recusal first, and then adding them as a supplemental pleading?
I didn't say anything about recusing him.
Okay.
I mean, you're wasting time. This is the beauty of I mean, I don't worry about recusing them because when I get done having to do something and bleeding, they can go sit their own happy ass down if they want to.
Okay.
That's not how I do that. And if they don't want to, then we keep going forward.
Notice of recusal was in the premium package. That's why I thought, it was something that I would use.
Well, you can use it if you want to, because you're your coach. But if it was me, I would, I already told you guys. So when there are a lot of documents in the package that we don't need to use now because we learned how to stop the state court process like dead in its tracks.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, that's done. Okay.
So, but see, here's the thing. You stop the federal court the same damn way. I mean, there ain't no difference. As soon as screw you over, bam, jam the ass up. And when you jam out, you'll find out they'll start sending you a notice letter that your shit was deficient or whatever. It ain't signed by the judge, nor did it go through the court. Oh, that means that the judge can tell them whatever date they have in that notice letter. The judge already told them that they ain't having it, and let him get that shit out of his court. So they'll start sending you notice letters saying there's a notice that your thing was deficient or whatever. Okay, so anytime that the judge rules or anytime whatever, or anytime somebody files something, you always want to object. And shit, you already know why. And you understand the document that you got, you already know what it is. I'm objecting for all of this. And just copy and paste that shit. I didn't stick it right in there.
Got it. Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome, buddy. We're looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close up shop so I can go eat some dinner. I was rushing around and taking last minute calls. So next live stream that I have, I'm probably not going to take any calls an hour before the stream. So if you guys have a situation, y'all need to do your checks on the day before, because on the stream I always have way more. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I want to share with you guys the notes that I put together. So one of the things that this is the 3949A form, 3949A form for IRS fraud. And this is that's the judge that my foster kid is suing for her LLC. She has a building with 39 residents. I'm like, I deliver stuff for 17 years. That ain't a resident building. When I'm looking at her law offices, she's got listed as residents on the internet. So I was like, I wonder if there's any kind of a tax incentive that people get if they misrepresent. Anyway, so that's the form that we use to report these corporations, and you can report them anonymously or not. I put my name on it because I ain't trying to be anonymous. I need them to know if they want to come after me for coming after her, they're going to have to get in the motorcade line back there of all them people that have been following me around. Okay, and so I was going to share with you guys the 8883 asset allocation statement, which is another form that they're supposed to, and they never fill out, whatever. And so I started doing some research on it, and I didn't. This was a long time ago. My friend told me about this, so I haven't put it all together where I can explain the value of it to you guys yet. So I'm still working on that. But in the meantime, I ran across a bunch of other forms that they're supposed to have filled out when they do foreclosures and shit that they don't do, I'm sure. So I'm going to put those together and I just have it in notes. So I'm just going to I just have the notes. I'm just going to send you the notes, and then you can read it, and then you can like research on certain things if you want to see. Because that started. I thought I was that close to China, but I wasn't. I think I heard Russian people talk. But it's really interesting. And what I like to do is use some of those facts in the lawsuit that we're jamming, because you know they ain't doing none of that stuff. You know they're not. So, and even if you don't really have to know they're not, people get so wrapped up in, oh, this too good. I don't have to prove shit. They're the ones that got to prove stuff. Okay, they're the ones that got to prove stuff. When you get done bringing this fire around here, they're the ones that got to prove stuff. We ain't got to prove nothing. They're the ones that got to prove it. You know, Ashley says quiet title in state court and they're now stopped the eviction. I don't agree with that. Is that what you did? I didn't agree with that, because quiet title is something they have to agree on. They have to agree to. They have to like say, yeah, okay, you get that. Or at least that's what I don't do the quiet title. I like to, because now you're walking too close to the fence and to the cliff, and the wind could push you off. You know, quiet title. I like doing things the way we're doing right now, where you actually sue them for why they're able to violate you, and then you use that to force them to deliver your deed. And if you're ever in court facing a judge, foreclosure, eviction, whatever, I'll be like, no, dude, your job is to make sure that the employees, the city hired follows the statutes. That's what your job is, not to make me follow them, to make them follow. So, judge, I'm going to need you to tell them to go get my deed and bring back here to the court. And I'm going to wait right here so you can see that I got it. Because I don't think they already was supposed to deliver it the first time, and they didn't. They did a bunch of shady stuff. And that shady stuff they did allowed the state to put liens against my property as collateral for federal government loans and all kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure that happened. Now, you guys can see that I spent a little time doing my homework on this stuff. So, and so I'm going to have the hub page, the student hub page that we set up. We're going to use that page to communicate with everybody when we have online, when we have workshops, and then I'll put the information in there that you guys need to know when the workshop is. You'll have a code to it so everybody can get to it, and then I'll leave the resources that I want to provide in there too. And so, like in some cases, you can get the resources before we have the workshop to do some things. It's kind of how we're trying to set this up so it's interactive, but we didn't really get to that today because we had this judge stuff. We don't want. I think we did a good job. Everybody was feeling comfortable about the situation they're in with their judge. I hope so. If you guys could text me or email me over your audio or video review, and hopefully you can do it in the next day or two. Or actually, hopefully it'd be nice if you just do it tonight. And I just send everybody your stuff over tonight and be done with it. Because 2 days later, 4 days later, 5 days later, I didn't I need to know who the hell you are. So my head is filled up with a lot of stuff, but I can remember the stuff that we need to have on the table.
Coach, one last thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'll let you go. The WhatsApp app, we cannot ask questions there, just so you know.
Well, you can come to the front side and talk to me.
Okay.
I have and that's I'm on there all the time anyway, talking with my people in Pakistan or whatever. So just friend me there. I'm friends with a few people here on there. If you have any questions, you can just hit me up there. If they're not real long. If they're real long, then you probably should get a coaching group thing going on there. Okay. Did you have a question, Regina? Okay.
I have a quick question.
No question.
I just wanted to know if you can tell me which packet has the paperwork that you said is to be done it's your process basically.
On the what?
Well, you said that your process has got its own paperwork, right? Do you have that on the website? Which one?
So the one that I was talking about the 6 missing things is the premium foreclosure defense package. I think it was 900. It was 15. I think it was like 900 or 1200. I'm not exactly sure. I've been lowering my prices for the last 2 months, trying to rearrange things and make it so people can afford it because they've been jamming me up on my advertising and all that stuff. So that one would be the foreclosure defense premium package, and I think it's either 900 or 1200, one of those two. And that package comes with coaching. The other packages comes with coaching on the coaching page, or you have to sign up for coaching. But if you invest in a premium package, it comes with coaching. And the way that works is you would text me, "Hey, coach, I have a question." And then if I'm not busy, I'll call you up, or I might even ask what it is because I'm in the middle of something, but I can text. So I might ask, and we have to keep it short. So that is the value for investing in the premium package, and you get to have way more fun. You get to have way more fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you have any trouble figuring it out which one it is, just send me a text message later, Catherine, and I'll send it over to you. Go ahead, Coach Regina.
No, I was just reviewing my notes. I have no questions. That you did clarify a lot, especially with that the Feldman. The fact that we weren't the plaintiffs, we were the defendants, so it doesn't even apply to us. So that was very, educational.
So use that to end that shit. End it. From add the judge to it. Now, y'all need to know how many times I'm gonna give y'all keep punching me in the face. So, so the goal is to make them go sit down and leave you alone, because they'll be telling their friends, "No, we ain't doing nothing. You need to get it out of here," or whatever. And so that's kind of how that rolls out if you get that shit right. So thank you guys for investing. Now, I have another workshop the property tax breakdown thing. If anybody's interested in that, I think I will do it for $75 too. This seems to be like a nice sweet spot, $75. So if you're interested in that, just cash out me $75. Call me and let me know. You got to call me and let me know, because when I get in another couple of weeks, if you don't call me, I can't guarantee that I'll have a spot for you. So But I like to go ahead and do that. If there's anybody interested in that, then we'll drop it down from the $197. I'll just drop it down to $75. That's a nice sweet spot, and I like that. I'm trying to figure out where to be with it. At the end of the day, when I get more people signed up, I'll be able to make the ching and still be able to provide a service for the people that want to help. So, and I already found out that the people that don't want to help, I get more, I can't live in my drama-free zone. Oh. Yeah, so Cash App. Yeah, WhatsApp. Yeah, I have WhatsApp, and that's you can ask me questions there in my WhatsApp page. Now I had a community set up, but I didn't realize it's just for me to leave you guys stuff. I didn't realize that we weren't be able to. And I have another place down when we get down the road on our website that we'll be able to set up too. But right now, you just talk to me in WhatsApp. Most of you have WhatsApp. That works out pretty well. And then I like to get paid with the Cash App because it saves me fees and stuff. So,
Coach, is the WhatsApp under your name, Coach Neighbors, or on like Win in Court now? What would I be looking for?
Oh, I don't know. Lily's in charge of that. Oh.
I'm unfamiliar with WhatsApp. That's why. Oh, someone said Marcus says Coach Neighbors. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like looking at it, but I'm not really sure. I had to click on the thing. So
Thank you.
thank you, whoever was helping us. Yeah, so that's a good place to go and find me. I see Coach Regina's on there too. So okay, guys. Thank you, guys. And if you're interested in the other one, in the next one that we're going to have on the 15th, just let me know. And I'm going to have it anyway because I'm using these videos I'm going to use these videos in my online course. We're going to have an online course, property protection and management. And so that's what we're going to teach people. The same things we've been doing, teaching you guys how to protect your property and make it toxic so they don't want to be bothering with you, and how to make, and what we're doing works. We use federal case law and federal acts and everything that we so it works in any state. So we have a couple of people. I have a team of people that have been trained to manage their foreclosure, their rental property foreclosure situations, whatever, in different states, all from the same place. So it's amazing what we're getting done right now. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go so I can go eat, and I need to let my doggy out. She was not acting right, so she didn't get to hang out today. She was acting a little bossy. I think she went outside, got herself all riled up. Then she came in here, and I'm like, no, dude. So you guys are welcome, and it would be wonderful if you guys could leave me reviews on this so that I can post them in the page and let everybody see that the people that come to or lead with fire, but they ain't burned. Good night, everybody.